So the next question, this one was posted on the Hunt Fitness Facebook page. If you haven't liked that already, go like that. From Zachary. This one is, alright, so opinions coming out that post-workout insulin spike isn't actually needed, so ingesting quick carbs as opposed to other stuff like dextrose is pointless post-workout. I'll let you start this one.
Oh man, I get this. I see this almost 100 times a day. And like I previously stated, Alan Aragon Research Review, Martin Burkham on his site, leangains.com. Lane Norton, he wrote a great article about this on bodybuilding.com, post-workout myths. Science over the years has changed so much. If you look at Lane's writings 5 years ago where he suggested a post-workout spike compared to today, and his MPS study as far as less meals per day, BCAAs between meals, helps with muscle protein synthesis. All the studies done on endurance athletes and those who did insulin spikes were over 24 hours fasted. Okay? Now let's compare it to us who eat multiple times per day, use an intra-workout BCAA beverage. Okay? When you eat a meal, protein synthesis is going to be elevated. Alright, most people train with a meal maybe 60-90 minutes beforehand, use an intra-workout BCAA beverage. So let's put this into perspective. The food overlap is still there. The branch chains that you digest, which instantly go to your muscles because there is no digestion in branch chains, is still present in your system. So why do you need a spike? Well, let's factor this as well. Whey protein alone or any protein source already spikes insulin. Okay, carbs, it's not going to matter. If you're an endurance athlete, yes, it may make a difference. If you're 24 hours fasted and training fasted with an intra-workout product, maybe a little bit. But overall, in the grand scheme of things, not necessary. Is dextrose a way to get in your carbs? Absolutely. Is it necessary? No. Micronutrient-wise, it's voided of all of it. I would suggest a different carb source. There's better ways to hit your carb sources, but for hard gainers, yes, you could add it. Is it going to hurt? No. But is it beneficial? Maybe, but very little. Look at the studies on PubMed. It will just clear in day show you that not 100% necessary, especially for 95% of us that train in a fed state, or even if you are in a fasted state with a branch chain product, not going to be necessary. So overall, I would say not so much. Alan Aragon, his research shows it. Lyle McDonald, I think, also showed that in his support as well. I'll let Kyle touch on this one too.
Yeah, I mean, I get this question a lot too. For the most part, it's because I don't ever really put dextrose or anything like that into my diet plans or even recommend it to my clients. I normally just say, hey, you know, this is your carb count for the day. I really don't care how you, I mean, I'll set up a meal plan, but it's just like a reference. I don't really care how they get their carbs in. And, you know, I still get it. And I don't understand it, but I don't know. Like Bob said, research changes over time. So everybody kind of 5 years ago, or even probably 3 years ago,
even in the 90s when, you know, bodybuilding was so big and 6 meals a day, you know, and the research now shows differences between it. If you work great on 6 meals, rock it out. If you do better on 4 meals a day but still hit that caloric intake, go for it. You know, I get clients that do 6 meals a day and just want a meal plan and say, hey, I'll eat this every day, I don't care. Some people like, you know, get their macros and micros different ways. It's personal preference all in the end. Yes, you can use those calories and those carbs to hit your intake for the day, but in the grand scheme of things, is it going to be worth it? It doesn't matter. You hit your calories in a 24-hour period. It suits your goal as far as cutting or bulking goes. Go from there. Personal preference.
Yeah, and I think part of the reason why we still get this question and people still want to know is, you know, having an insulin spike post-workout beneficial is because, like, old strategies die really hard. I mean, like Bob said, in like the 90s, everybody ate 6 meals a day. That was a minimum. It wasn't like, hey, dude, do you eat 4 or 6 meals? It's no, do you eat 6 meals, and if you're even hardcore, you'd eat 8 meals. I mean, that's just how it was. And people are still kind of doing that, and they're just now kind of realizing, shit, maybe we don't need to eat that many times. And I actually contribute that to the whole intermittent fasting stage. Probably the best thing that came from intermittent fasting getting popular is people realizing, wow, I don't need to eat 8 times a day to be, you know, to get the same results. I can eat 2 times a day, 3 times a day, 4 times a day, whatever is most beneficial to them or whatever is most convenient. But for the post-workout insulin spike, again, a lot of the research, like Bob said, was done fasted and in endurance athletes, so it's completely different than muscle building and bodybuilding. But again, that was the norm. It wasn't like, you know, do you insulin spike post-workout? No, it was like everybody did. So, again, it's kind of dying hard. But, again, today we know that it's not beneficial, so there's no reason to do it. I mean, you can just get your carbs in throughout the day. And, again, there's no reason to spike insulin with dextrose or any other sugar like that because, like Bob said, just protein in general, whey protein itself spikes insulin. You add some carbs into it, it's going to elevate insulin even more. And is the insulin even really, is it going to benefit you at all, really? I mean, probably not. And the whole speed thing, speed of digestion, I think that ties in perfectly. People are thinking you got to get a shake in or get a meal in like 0.2 seconds after your last set. And that's not really needed either because you're still going to be digesting your pre-workout meal and the meals before that. So the whole workout window, anabolic window, it all kind of ties together and it's all irrelevant. So hopefully we answered that question good enough.
Also remember that protein synthesis is elevated for over 24 hours post-workout. Alan Aragon says this best. The number 1 and 2 rules as far as pre- and post-workout nutrition goes is hitting your macros and hitting your calories. All right, you don't need huge meals post-workout. You don't need small meals post-workout. Hitting that caloric intake over the 24-hour period is most beneficial, but pre- and post-workout would be the ideal times to take in the majority of your carb sources. I know Lane Norton suggests that as well, and many other coaches. You're training, you're going to put the calories to good use, and around then would be a wise choice as far as caloric allotment goes. So, final thoughts on that.
Excellent.